the shape of your slider looked as good as they've ever seen it, and they've obviously seen some good ones. I remember a game in Anaheim; it wasn't too bad a few years ago.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, like what does that mean, and what does that tell you to get that feedback, and how good is it?
No, it's great. I think the few mechanical adjustments allows just all my pitches to be more consistent. So yesterday they showed me the plots, and every slider I threw was in like the like elite range of my personal slider. I think a lot of it has to do with just my delivery, my legs being under me, and and not feeling any stress anywhere on my body. I can repeat very easily.
And Chris, mechanical adjustments you made previously, or that the Rays have kind of reminded you of here, or
a little bit of a combination. I had so much downtime. Like I said, I watched a lot of baseball. I saw the positions that all the good pitchers were putting their body in, and I found what worked for me. Before, since I had a couple lower body injuries, there were some natural compensations that happened. So really just getting back to what I used to do, and not being like so rotational and working more in a straight line, which allows me to be behind the baseball more. So in theory, I would get more carry on the fastball and more consistent break on the breaking ball.
by being lined up with the plate more?
Yes.
Gotcha. And then what's next? Cash thought a game, and he thought maybe day 6, which would be Friday, if I counted right. Does that sound what you're thinking? Or
Yeah. That's what's on the schedule for now.
cool. And is there any other, just to clarify too, is there any reason that you did the inter squad first? Was that your call or their call, or?
We had, like I said last time I spoke to you guys, we had some stuff in pencil. And I think since Glasnow and McHugh and there was like 2 or 3 starters scheduled for that day, it was just better to allow me to start and Glasnow to get his start, to put me back there, get me 2 ups in a controlled environment, so that now I've already built that base. So 2 ups is not going to be foreign for me for my first spring training start.
Art, you mentioned the slider was kind of like elite as far as your sliders go. Are you talking spin rate, location, any, just kind of anything along those lines?
The overall movement. I don't really even know the metrics of the spin rate for my slider, because it's one of those things that, hey, you throw it for strikes, you throw it out of the zone, people miss it. There's no reason to talk about it. It's proven to be a good pitch, so we don't really tinker with it, other than some mechanical cues that allow me to get, to maximize the pitch.
As far as where's your fastball coming back from all this, is where you want it to be at this point of the spring? I think we heard you were pretty much normal in the last live BP you threw as well. Velocity.
Yeah, I would say it's normal for February, March in spring training, especially given I haven't played in 12 months, which was another reason that I just want to go ahead and get that one on the backfield out of the way. Because right now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build the volume on my body, which when the volume gets built, the strength gets built, the endurance gets built. So with where we're at right now, and all things considered, I'm really happy about, even, my changeup had some like different movement, more consistent with the depth than the lateral because of my delivery. So again, my command's really good. My stuff's breaking really well, and I couldn't be happier about where I'm at.
Chris, since you've been away for a couple of seasons, what's been your overall impression of this camp now that you've gotten to see it for a couple of weeks, and the biggest difference or change from when you left?
Well, obviously it's Corona, so it's not exactly what it would be, but I just love how the young guys are embraced. I love how the training staff is like, look, if you're a little sore, come in. Don't let it build up. Whether you're Rich Hill or you're Wander Franco, they want you in there get that maintenance work, because that's what spring training's for. You iron out all the kinks so that hopefully during the season you don't spend as much time in the training room. So, and that kind of goes for everything. It goes for your ground ball routines. It goes for your throwing program. They give guys a lot of freedom to let them do as long as they get their work in, to let them do what they feel they need to do. And I feel like that type of environment is necessary if you want people to thrive. If you want people to maximize their potential, there has to be some freedom, some wiggle room, for them to do what they need to do. And I've loved to see it so far.
Chris, going back to the mechanical changes with the slider, how difficult is it to make small changes that make such a huge difference? And more importantly, how difficult is it to maintain those changes and not go back to what you were doing before?
Yeah, I think if you're trying to make a change in spring training, it's almost too late. So fortunately, I had a lot of time to do things in the weight room, to do things in my arm, like my throwing program build up, and in my early bullpens in the off season, so that now it's more first nature. And just like Snyder giving me a tiny cue, if he sees something, I can make the adjustment immediately. And I can see like the trajectory of the ball also gives me the feedback, so that then I can tell myself, okay, I missed that arm side. That usually means that I did this wrong. So let me make sure that I get back in a good place. So it's not that hard now, but the early process was pretty tough because it's all lower body stuff. It had nothing to do with my arm or hand position. My lower body put me in a better arm and hand position. So now it's more first nature, and it's getting those reps, which allows me to go out there and be consistent 100 times with it.
And just out of curiosity, who put together the off-season program?
So my physical therapist that I spoke about last time, Zach Ray, he did all my thoracic rehab, but he's a physical therapist / movement specialist. We have one on site here. And our strength coach TC, he's great at like being able to eyeball the movement. So all these people have gotten together and had conversations or like around the time that I signed. Hey, this is what Chris does. This is what this is his limitations. Like anatomically, he's limited, so this is how he gets it done. So it started with Zach Ray, and now it's like a team. It's the Rays plus myself plus my PT back home.
Back home, California.
Yeah. I didn't mean to say that, but I guess
Hey, two team questions for you. One, just you referenced COVID. I know we've talked about this before, but you're such a clubhouse guy and tries to talk to everybody. How different has that been? Are there still people you haven't met? Like we've heard, like Diego and I think B. Lauer in the other room and stuff like that. Like, how different, weird, unusual has that been?
Yeah, it's mostly the younger guys, especially with masks. It's hard to recognize. Like I saw Taylor Walls make that double play the other day, but yesterday was the first time that he walked by and I was like, oh, is that Taylor Walls? Because he was wearing a mask. So even if I see someone in passing and meet them, I don't know what their face looks like sometimes. But for the most part, it's been good. I've asked like McClanahan, hey, can you ask Stratman to introduce himself? Because like I literally like don't know what he looks like. And there's been some other times like with Fleming, because those guys are in the other locker room. And with the younger starting pitchers, I do want them to know that I'm here for them if they need anything. Hopefully they need nothing. But if they need anything, I want them to know I'm here for them. So I'll just ask the guy, hey, Willie, can you introduce me to Wander? I've never met Wander. Even Randy Arozarena, I know what he looks like. I watched him play all postseason, but I've only seen him like 2 times in camp. So it is a little different, but we're making the most of it.
Yeah, and team bonding probably more happens more toward the end of spring training after like guys get cut and stuff, right? When it's a smaller group.
Yeah, I think so. Colin McHugh talked about now that we can go eat at restaurants, maybe getting a small group together and finding somewhere outside to dine, just so we can build some off the field camaraderie over a meal, talk about family, talk about something other than baseball, so that baseball conversations down the road are a little easier.
He might be setting you up to pick up the check there. You might want to watch that group.
Hey, I don't mind, honestly. Like, if that's the only thing that I can give, then I'll make the reservation and pay for it, and then just listen and learn.
That or the podcast. He's got the 12-6 podcast too.
Oh yeah, that's right. I wouldn't mind. He's been really fun to talk to, especially all things like union related, because he's super involved in the union. And the past 8 months, I've just been hyper focused on myself. It's been hard to keep up with, what's going to happen, what's not going to happen, what we're looking at. So it's been nice to get a full briefing from him.
Gotcha. Just one other thing. One of our other guys is doing a piece on Yarborough, and I know guys do it different ways. Some guys are velocity, obviously, different things. How would you kind of describe how he gets it done, and why he is so successful?
I think Yarborough really started the trend of this new age type pitcher. The Dodgers did it with Julio Urias last year in the playoffs, where they throw him in wherever he can get in. Sometimes he starts, sometimes he throws 3 or 4 innings in the middle of the game. Sometimes he even finishes the game. So Yarbs, he broke into the big leagues doing that, and he accepted his role. And I think it's really cool that he's willing to do. I mean, obviously he wants to start, but he's willing to do anything that it takes to help the team win. And it's a philosophy that like I admire and that I plan on applying myself. If the team asks me to do some unconventional things, I'm way more open to it because I've seen the success of Yarbs. He's put in a position to succeed, but he also executes at a very high level, and he wins 10, 15 games a year. And that's huge for the team. It saves the bullpen tremendously, him being able to pitch from the 2nd to the 7th. About his particular style, it's different. But as I've been watching, every team kind of has a guy or two that gives their other pitchers some contrast. So, we have some flamethrowers, but without contrast, people start to time that up. So if you have a Patino followed by Yarborough, followed by Pete Fairbanks and Diego Castillo, like those are different looks, but that contrast in the middle can really mess with the team. So I love what Yarbs does. It's way harder to go out there and have the confidence that he has in his stuff when you only throw 88, 89, 90. But he has just as much confidence, if not more, than anybody. And you love to see him out there on the mound, just fighting.